Disclaimer, please do not harass anybody talked about in this video, although I may disagree with most of them. The fact of the matter is, a lot of their stances are a byproduct of the stigma that kinda plagued video games for a while and still kinda do. This is mostly for entertainment and comedic purposes, and I hope you enjoy.
My name is Alan. No last names, no credentials. To be honest, I don't even actually work here. I kind of just walked right in and nobody said anything. Today, we give you a news story. A YouTuber by the name of DPX Solo made a video about how the mainstream media perceives video games. Here is an exclusive look.
You probably didn't need me to tell you this, but I love video games. Video games are a fun escape, a fun form of entertainment. You really immerse yourself in these worlds, being the one in control. In a movie or show, you watch the hero. In, say, like a book, you read about the hero. In a video game, though, you are the hero. But some people like to spin that into a negative. You have all these old boomers who think they know anything about video games reporting on video games and telling you the dangers of gaming. So today, we're gonna get mad, alright? We're gonna look at some boomers talking about video games on the news and laugh at them. They should be fun.
A popular new video game actually allows you to be a terrorist and kill people.
Wow. The very first one. I'm 7 seconds in, and I'm being told that I can be a terrorist. Let's keep watching.
The world has been your battlefield. Everywhere you go.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
The controversial new video game is called Modern Warfare 2, and it is flying off the shelves. But is this fantasy game just a little too real? And is it appropriate?
For a kid, no. Which is why it's rated M.
Let's have a fair and balanced debate on this Veterans Day. We have John Christensen, founder of the gaming blog /gamer.com, and Jim Steyer, founder and CEO of Common Sense Media. They both join us from San Francisco. Jim, let's start with you. You got some problems with this game.
Come on, Jim. Lay it on me.
Well, I mean, what you really need to know about this game is, number one, it's an incredibly popular game. The original sold about 13 million titles, and it's a really violent game.
Yep, yep, you got all that right.
So the real issue is, how old is the person who's playing it?
I don't know, but what I do know is that that's not the game's fault, that's the parents' fault.
There's no question that certain forms of video game violence can be correlated to aggression in the kids who use them. So it's
That's not true. You know that's not true. I think you're a plant.
The game comes with a warning that says you got to be at least 17 years old.
Damn. Shut him down. Did my job for me. Then he asks the blogger for his thoughts and gives his pretty fair and reasonable defense. Although I did see this one edit that just bleeped everything he said, and I think it would be funny if that was real, but it's not real. I thought it was real at first. That'd be a pretty big dick move if anyone ever did that.
Organization, you are you are a CIA operative, and
Right. Well,
Damn, I think we just saw a man just crumble live.
And you brought up the good thing. At what age is it appropriate? You know, then again, is it ever appropriate to assimilate killing people?
Game is not appropriate for kids. That's why game has content rating that says not appropriate for kids. I don't know what else you fucking want from me here.
Well, that is a good question, and you have to decide that for yourself. I mean,
No, there's a content rating. Whatever, it's a lost cause.
like that.
And John, I'll give you the final word.
We're moving on.
It's a frightening and disgusting trend in the world of online gaming. Hackers rewriting code to simulate sexual assault.
I'm sorry, what?
Online, they can take your character, lock them in place, have made their character pantsless, and then can simulate sexual assault with your character, and you are helpless to stop it.
The graphics are so good, this attack is eerily realistic, but this is virtual rape.
So yeah, virtual sexual assault. That's where we are with this.
We all know many video games are known for their violence. In Grand Theft Auto, for instance, players carry knives and guns and they get away with looting and murder.
And it's rated M? Oh no!
Police say in these virtual rapes, harassment would be hard to prove, and tracking down the invisible hacker could be next to impossible.
Yeah, no shit. It's not like this is an actual rape that's going on. This is someone playing a game and hacking it, okay? This is not stuff that was packaged with the game. So, yeah, of course it's kind of difficult to track down the people who do this.
It depends on where the person is that's actually doing it, because they could be anywhere in the world.
That police siren was perfectly timed and also perfectly shattered my eardrums.
And while the only way to avoid
You did not just fucking play footage of Knack in this news story about virtual rape. You did not just do that!
Gaming expert Sarah Drew tells me there are guards that parents can use to ensure their child's online experience is as safe as possible, and it starts with your choice of console.
So because the Sony PlayStation is free online to play,
Who's gonna tell her?
And parents are also being encouraged to pick up a controller and learn the games that your kids are playing, and keep consoles and computers in a family room where there's the most supervision.
Moral of the story is, have the parents intervene if it's a kid playing. I think if we do that, all this could have been avoided and this wouldn't be a news story. By the way, I don't think they ever once mentioned that GTA 5, which is the main game that's being talked about here, is M-rated, and parents should be looking at the content rating before they buy their kids that game. Because why would they mention that?
Kids can't put it down.
It has lots of graphics.
Why, yes, it does have lots and lots of graphics. You might say it's a little fucked up of me to make fun of this kid, but A, this news story was from, like, what, 2007, so the kid is all grown up now, and B, that kid was fed that line. Someone was like, you know, hey kid, what do you like about the DS? He goes, I don't know, the graphics looks pretty cool. Okay, just say it has a lot of graphics. That makes sense.
The thing's a blast.
Oh, dude, awesome.
The dog doesn't seem to care.
Now, is that really necessary to put the dog on the spot like that? Come on. He didn't consent to that.
Gaming gurus predict
Nintendo DS is going to...
Yo! It's Reggie! It's the Reginator!
Nintendo DS is going to redefine portable handheld gaming the way iPod is redefining music.
Well, stop the music. Because it's also redefining how vulnerable your kids are to child molesters.
That was a fucking leap and a half. But let's hear them out.
See, along with the game capability, Nintendo DS comes with a feature called PictoChat.
No, they're not gonna. This isn't gonna be about PictoChat, is it?
Kids know what it is. Problem is, parents don't.
you know, I don't see that piece advertised on commercials.
I'm pretty sure it was, actually. I'm pretty sure this big new feature and application for the DS was, in fact, advertised. Maybe you just didn't read the fine print.
Here's an example of what can happen.
Alright, let's see.
With Melanie and Marissa upstairs in the bedroom, I was downstairs sending them messages. What's your dog's name? What's your name? Where do you go to school? Where do you live? Marissa's mom was watching as Melanie and Marissa answered my questions, and she didn't like what she saw.
Of course it's Nintendo's fault.
Especially when I saw Melanie write in the address.
I then realized, wow, I should talk to her and tell her to not fucking do that and just give all that information to strangers.
Granted, the girls knew it was me sending the messages.
Oh. Okay.
But they'd only met me minutes before.
Well, no, at this point, that doesn't matter, because they knew who you are now, and they know that this was going to be on the news, and they know this is going to be on TV, and they know that you are of no harm to them, and you don't have any proof that they would have been responding to strangers, like an actual stranger, and you're still going to blame Nintendo for this, and fuck! Okay, so this next part is them proving that you don't need to be 65 feet from each other, but really, who the fuck knows how far apart you need to be from each other, because you can be like 300 feet from each other.
And remember Marissa chatting with her friend in the other car? That means a molester driving along could see your child in the back seat and start sending messages while you're in the front seat, totally oblivious to what's happening.
They had to bring it back around. They had to remind you that that's what this is about, really. You know, if there are actual instances of creepy people communicating with minors on PictoChat and they were talked about on here, maybe I wouldn't have even included that because it is pretty serious. The thing is though, my thoughts here is talking about it like a hypothetical, but also not like a hypothetical, you know, which is just a little weird in my opinion.
Nintendo is well aware of the risk. Both the owner's manual and the company's website warn parents about PictoChat and recommend talking to your kids about what to do if they get a message from someone they don't know.
Yep, there you go. Parents need to read the fine print, and if they do, no child molesters in sight. Let's move on.
A revolutionary smartphone game or a potentially lethal fad?
It's one of the two. Can't be both. So basically right now, they're just talking about Pokemon Go and how people are addicted to it, and also talking about how weird some of the names are.
Getting out there to find things using their phones with unusual sounding names.
Pinsir, Krabby, Tangela,
Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle.
Rattata, Poliwag, Psyduck.
Pikachu. What a weird name. What kind of name is Pikachu?
The game pushes players to explore their outdoor surroundings as well as walk. A lot.
Because we all know that all gamers are nothing more than just fat, sweaty nerds who have never gone outside and seen a strand of grass in their lives, so going outside and collecting Pokemon is a life-changing experience. Look, I know that the narrator didn't actually say that, and I am being a little facetious, but, you know, the implications are there.
One of the reasons this game is so popular is because it's so interactive, and you can actually capture Pokemon right in front of you.
We can catch Pokemon, or we can catch you. You, the reporter. Standing right there. And they just pretty much talk about Pokemon Go more and how it's bringing people together, and it ends. Never go back to the idea of this game being a lethal fad, by the way. They just completely just forget about that. Since Pokemon Go was such a huge craze and a lot of stuff went down when people played Pokemon Go, there's a lot more news stories about it. So, here's another one.
Pokemon Go is all the rage, but it is putting unsuspecting kids at risk. Experts say it could make them easy targets for predators on the prowl for their next victim.
And there it is again.
Take a walk through any public park.
At a public park. And your point is?
6-year-old Alexander Swan is hooked. Just ask his mom.
He loves it. Why wouldn't he want to play it? Everybody else is playing it.
Now, is that really necessary? I mean, I know kids are playing this game. Well, why'd you highlight this kid in particular, though?
But a troubling reality is that everybody includes those hunting for more than just Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, you can run into, like, deer hunters or stuff like that.
Experts say child predators are now using the app to track down children to potentially victimize.
Oh, right! Forgot!
To gain a better understanding, we sat down with Sergeant Pam McLean.
To get a better understanding, in other words, to get this game bad publicity.
How does Pokemon Go make kids vulnerable when they're out and about searching for these characters?
Why, yes, that is why we are here. That is the question we've all been asking and wondering ourselves. So we talked to this detective, and she says the obvious stuff, basically explaining how any predators prey on children, and it doesn't need to involve Pokemon Go, but anything to shit on video games, I guess.
You'll see groups and clusters of kids together with no adult supervision.
Well, that's the problem, adult supervision. You know, isn't that the problem? I have a feeling I'm going to be saying that a lot this video, if I haven't already.
So, what can be done about all this?
Want to hear my thoughts? Don't have kids go out by themselves without adult supervision.
Anytime that we could
shit on video games, we do it. Moving on.
New alert from the World Health Organization about video game addiction. The organization is now designating gaming disorder as a mental health condition.
No, not this one.
This is a move that has stunned many in and out of the medical community. Some saying it's about time we recognize the intense pull of video games.
So you know how people get addicted to movies, or they like binge watch an entire show and they say they're addicted to it? Well, people also get addicted to video games.
Given the science that shows there could be some addictive nature to them.
Could be, alright? There is a possibility. Kind of like how there is a possibility that this video could become the first ever video to hit 1 trillion views. I'd say it's gonna happen, but it could happen.
For the first time adding gaming disorder to their list of addictive activities, likening it to substance abuse and gambling disorders.
Because of course, playing video games for an extended period of time is the exact same thing as being addicted to snorting cocaine.
An estimated 60% of Americans play video games every day, with 2.6 billion gamers across the globe. But only 3% of them are affected by the disorder.
Alright guys, I guess we all have to stop playing video games, because there's already a 3% of all gamers throughout the entire world who have gaming disorder.
The International Game Developers Association telling ABC News there are serious and troubling consequences to the WHO's creation of a gaming disorder when games are used as a coping mechanism for stress, anxiety, and depression. Adding the science and common sense around how video games are played supports the conclusion that video games are not addictive.
You see, I don't know why you guys do this to yourselves. You just showed that there is science that says that gaming is not addictive in the way that fucking heroin is addictive.
Now, some medical experts also question the wisdom of classifying gaming as an addiction.
Wait, medical experts are questioning gaming disorder? I thought it was the medical experts that classified gaming disorder. Now look, I understand that there are a lot of people out there who spend an obscene amount of time playing video games and shutting themselves off from the rest of the world and never leaving their rooms. I'm not going to pretend that that's something that doesn't exist, right? The thing is though, and this goes with everything I'm talking about on here, there is such thing as intervention. Alright, I think we got the gist of gaming disorder. The moral of the story is if you play a lot of video games, it's just as bad as doing hard drugs. So let's move on to this next one.
And finally, the NAACP is not happy this morning about a European ad for Sony's new portable PlayStation. The billboard ad plays up the PS.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think we gotta give a point to the media here. Wait, we're doing points? But I mean, look at that! What? Nah, but someone actually approved of that. Someone approved of that ad. Well, let's get back to shitting on the media.
Are the words PlayStation Portable going to end up on your kid's Christmas list?
Oh, look at that, we're still on the PSP.
PSPs are good, clean fun, right?
Yeah!
So why are they also known by the name PlayStation Portable?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've never heard of that one before. Why is that?
We don't want to spoil anybody's Christmas, but there are hidden dangers parents should be aware of. I'm sure you wouldn't give your child pornography, but you just might be giving them access to it with today's most popular electronics.
Okay, I want to hear this. How does the PSP have porn on it?
Inside is a high-powered computer that with a Wi-Fi connection can access the internet.
Yes, the PSP has a browser on it.
And that opens up Pandora's box.
Now, I would show you more, but the video does kind of end right there, so yeah. Alright, I got one more to show you guys, and this one lives in infamy. If you know, you know.
Finish this!
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. I was looking at it a little bit this afternoon. It's a new role-playing video game that is leaving nothing to the imagination. Mass Effect is what it's called.
Nothing to the imagination. Absolutely nothing.
What the fuck is up with this? Sex box? Really? You think you're that clever?
In case you don't know, this is a news story about how Mass Effect has sex scenes. Yep. Yeah. Some outlets even went as far as to call Mass Effect a sex simulator, because we all know, every movie that has a sex scene in it is a porn film.
The game is rated M for mature. However, critics say that Mass Effect is being marketed to kids and to teenagers.
But the critics didn't make the game, nor did they give it the content rating. If the game's rated M, the game is rated M. Who gives a fuck what the critics say? The critics are supposed to tell you if the game's good or not what fucking audience is it best suited for? So Fox News got Cooper Lawrence and everyone's favorite Nepo baby, Jeff Keighley, who looks absolutely pissed. I cannot wait to see how this plays out.
Because this is when the developing mind is happening. This is when they're first deciding who they're going to be, who their identity is. This is when social development is happening. And here's how they're seeing women. They're seeing them as these objects of desire, as these, you know, hot bodies.
I mean, you did basically just explain how that's the thing that adolescent males tend to think, you know, when they first start, you know. So I don't really know how this has to do with Mass Effect necessarily.
They don't show women as being valued for anything other than their sexuality. And it's a man in this game deciding how many women he wants to be with.
Now, I will say she is kind of spitting facts. You know, technically not wrong, but everything you just said, everything you just said has nothing to do with Mass Effect. When it comes to Mass Effect, you know, there's a lot I could say right now, but we'll just let Jeff Keighley do the talking.
All right, let's get Jeff in on this.
All right, that's
go ahead,
completely
Jeff.
incorrect. Yeah, that's completely incorrect. First of all, you can actually play as a man or a woman in the game. Cooper, have you ever played Mass Effect?
No.
Oh, well, I think you kind of just told on yourself. I don't know, I hate that she fucking laughs when she says no. You know, like, I mean, I'm not saying that you need to play the game in order to report on something like this, but do a little bit of research. It's clear she didn't do any research on this game.
Right, well, I think the fact is you talked about, you know, another thing that you mentioned is that how it's, you know, has full graphic nudity. That's completely incorrect. There's no full nudity in this game. There's the side of an alien boob which can be seen. Did I just become a Jeff Keighley simp?
Okay, so now the woman in the middle asks about some age verification thing, and this is Jeff's response.
Well, I think what's interesting about this, we talk about, you know, sexuality in the media. One of the great things about Mass Effect, for people that have played it know this is a sort of a choose-your-own-adventure story. And you can actually play through this game without the sexual situation ever happening
Right, and the young boys
game.
are going to be choosing not to have sex. That'll be what they'll choose. I mean,
no,
let's be
because
realistic
it's not a simple choice, but Cooper, it's not a simple choice. You don't turn to the game and says, would you like to have sex or not? It's through the evolution of a relationship with characters, and the fact that this game has incredible artificial intelligence of media.
Darlin, I gotta go with the research, and the research says there's a new study out of University of Maryland right now that says that boys that play video games cannot tell the difference between what they're seeing in a video game and the real world.
But how does that make Mass Effect a sex simulator, though? You keep dodging the main point. Isn't that the whole fucking thing here? That Mass Effect is like a sex simulator? Everything you keep saying, the research you're referring to, has nothing to do with Mass Effect.
All right, Jeff, thank you. It's a fascinating game, and I'm amazed at just the artistry and what it looks like. It's absolutely phenomenal.
It's a fantastic game, and sex is a small little part of it.
All right, thank you very much to Jeff and Cooper. Let's go around the.
I love how she saw that, you know, the back and forth was getting a little bit out of hand, so she just told both of them to fuck off. Alright, so now we get to go to the other panel and hear their thoughts.
But you have to pick up the box and look at the back for the rating, and then, you know, I mean, you have to be involved in what your kids are looking at.
What? You have to pick up the box and look at the back for the rating? I mean, yeah, the rating is on the back, but it's also on the front. Believe it or not, you can actually see the rating of the game without picking it up at all. Also, why did she say that like it was an unnecessary process to finding out what the rating of the game is? Oh wait, it says it on the front.
I just last week bought Princess Enchanted Brides for my 6-year-old daughter. And
now, is that really related?
But I will say this: look, who can argue possibly that you know, Luke Skywalker meets Debbie Does Dallas is a good thing? It's not. It's just not good. And I'm.
What the fuck are you talking about? Can we get someone else's opinion?
And then the thing is once it's in the house, that's the thing. There's a lot of grown men that love video games. Let's be honest here. But once it's in the house, we live in a day and age where our children are not always supervised. It's not the days of the Playboy magazine when a lot of moms were at home for the majority of the day. Many kids let themselves in after school. They have time. What do you think a young boy's going to do? I want to play my dad's video game while he's not here.
Say it with me now. And whose fault is that? You guys can't be telling me that kids stumbling across Mass Effect when they're not old enough to play it is a problem with the game and not a problem with the lack of adult supervision. Really?
I'm not sure why it didn't get an adult-only rating. That's the highest rating that it can have. So
because adult-only ratings are basically games that are just porn. Unless you're Thrill Kill or GTA San Andreas, but those don't count. Just porn, okay? And I get that's the point you guys want to make, that Mass Effect is just porn, but let's hear what Jeff Keighley said earlier.
There's no full nudity in this game. There's the side of an alien boob which can be seen. It's a small sexual situation in this game, which is about 2 minutes out of a 30-plus hour experience.
So yeah.
And this made me feel old watching this. What happened to Atari and Pinball and Pac-Man?
Oh, simple. Technology has advanced, so the games are definitely way more, you know, advanced, to say the least.
And the reality is, I would argue, that the government cannot and should not censor everything coming across the web and in video games. At the end of the day, it's just like Chet said, it's up to parents to control what their kids are seeing.
Thank you very much! Holy shit! So I think it is safe to say that the mainstream media just does not like video games. Luckily, recently video games have become a lot more mainstream and more widespread. Stuff like the Game Awards being seen by more eyes than just the eyes of gamers. Stuff like esports being showcased on national television. And big news stories such as, you know, let's say the Microsoft Activision merger receiving genuine mainstream media coverage. But back in the day, the media would try to find any way to vilify video games. Try to destroy the hobby for everyone. Even now, you still get a bunch of old boomers blaming video games for mass shootings, which I didn't cover because of obvious reasons. No matter how many studies show that video games do not cause violence, or how factually incorrect some of the research saying otherwise is, the media will still be the media and try to shit on not even just video games, but really any big craze. I think it's telling that just about all these stories basically have to do with kids playing games that they shouldn't be, or the safety of children, and they all kind of just come down to parents should be intervening a lot more. So really that's the moral of the story. So that was DPX and that was the video. To give a little more insight, here is the man, the myth, the loser himself, DPX Solo. DPX, thanks for coming on today. Hi. I have not moved and I've also been sitting here the whole time. Also, shut up, Alan. So basically, the point of what I was saying was, you know, so yeah, that's just what I think, and thanks for having me on here and hearing me out. Well, DPX, thanks for coming on today, and this is the news channel signing off.
Hey, who are you? You don't even work here.
Shit.